Welcome to iUnify podcast.
Yes.
We are back with our fourth episode. And I said in our second episode that we were going to bring this guest back. And we brought her back. This is Andrea. We left off probably half of your story. And people actually want to hear that because you have such a testimony, such a many mountains actually that you've overcome and actually came out on the other side a whole person. And not too many people can do that. It's so
Thank
many
you,
people
Lord.
out here that have let it ruin them or they end up different.
Right.
When they
Yeah.
came out on the side, can't halfway be a normal person.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we want to pick up where we left off. We left off in your teenage years when you had started to date and you started to be introduced to men. And so we're going to, I guess, pick up from there. You were at, I believe, your first child when you was telling the story about your first child. So if you want to pick up from there or you want to find a better place to come in, I don't care.
Okay.
But either way, we want you to, the floor is yours.
Right. But first of all, what's up, family? How y'all doing? I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad to be back. I'm glad that you had me back, Chastity. Well, let's see. Okay, I think I was telling the story of how I got raped when I had Sierra. So let me just pick up right there so we can just go on from there. The first thing, my dating life was a little weird because I grew up around so many people having so many traumatizing stories
Yeah.
and baby daddy stories, me being a product of one of them.
Right.
And I was just so determined that I'm not living that life. I'm not doing that. And so I made sure that I did not do that. As I said before, when I got raped and I thought I was pregnant with my oldest child, and when I had these older friends, they were barely grown. I'm not gonna call no names. They were quartet groupies. But anyway, my friends that at the time you could go to the clinic and you could have all type of things done as a teenager without your parents' permission. So they was she encouraged me to, to go there, get my parental care and to see if I'm pregnant and do all the stuff that
Right.
need to be done. So I made this plan. Y'all remember me talking about that what we call sap suckers. So I made this plan that I'm gonna call the guy that I said that was a sap sucker, and I was gonna blame him for the pregnancy, and that was gonna be it, and let him pay for the abortion that I was gonna have. And at this time, I'm like 16, barely 16.
It's like savage mode there.
And this was just what I came up with. I think this was the best plan. My mom is a pastor at this time. I am the oldest child. I'm the youth pastor. I am so many things.
You a whole youth
Yeah,
pastor?
I'm a whole youth pastor at this time. So, being pregnant at this time was like a big shame to my mom. And it's just a whole nother podcast. I just want to throw this in there. But at the time, my mom was going through so much with the actual ministry. And I'm the oldest child. Watching her do that was a whole nother load separate load by itself.
Yeah.
Because they was trying to tear her down and fighting for her mom's ministry.
Right.
But anyway, that was going on. So I didn't want my mama to know I was pregnant and so on and so on. So, long story short, back to the sapsucker. So I'm with the sapsucker, and I let him sleep with me. And so remember before we was just using him to buy all our stuff. He would just buy my stuff. I knew this old man was trying to get me, and I would use him. So this time I let him sleep with me so I could blame him for the pregnancy, and then I was going to have an abortion. That didn't work out. Of course, you see, my child is here. That turned out to be I had a dream that scared me. It was a God thing. That's another podcast, as far as that is concerned.
Well, it's really not though.
Oh, okay.
But
So
yeah, this is your story.
okay. So I had a dream that I was sitting in the pastor's study. And what I know now, I didn't know it then, what I was looking at, but I know now they were dance uniforms. I had on the top of y'all's dance uniform in the dream.
Oh, like the little praise dance.
Yeah, the
Okay.
praise dance uniform y'all had. Y'all actually had one of these, but in the dream, I had it on, sitting in the pastor's study. And I didn't understand at the time why I only had on half of this uniform, like half a robe. I didn't know it was a dance uniform in the dream. I thought it was a pastor's robe, but anyway. On my belly was blood. There was blood on my belly. So that scared me. I didn't know what that meant. I said, well, I didn't want the blood to be on me or be on my hands. I was 16. I didn't know what this dream meant. All I knew is this
It was blood on
blood
the uniform?
on my stomach.
On the bare stomach.
On the
uniform.
top of the uniform.
Ooh.
It was blood on there.
And it so happened to be the main dancer.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yes.
She turned out to be the
It was a God thing. But believe it or not, at the time when I was pregnant, the child I dreamed I have as a grandchild now. He's my oldest grandson. I dreamt I birthed DJ. I did not know I was going to even have a girl. I just knew because I had a dream I had a
he
boy.
was your first
My
grandchild.
first grandson. Yes. But anyway, so Sierra, after that dream, I was scared. I didn't kill her. I thought God was going to kill me. I didn't know what that was going to be, what that dream meant, so I didn't do it. And she's here today. So I had to tell what I thought the fake father, because at this time I thought it was the fake father. Because I didn't know I was just blaming him to be the father. But the truth is, I was never pregnant at first. I just
Wow.
thought I was pregnant. And now this old man has just impregnated me.
Wow.
So this was weird.
See how God tricked you right on there.
Right.
You thought you tricked the system. Wow.
And I sit right there and actually got pregnant by him. So he was my sugar daddy. And needless to say, I ended up marrying this man down the road. But before I get to marrying this man down the road, let me go back some.
Okay.
So after being pregnant with Sierra and having the child, my siblings are young. They're younger than me because, again, I told you, by the time I birthed her, I am turning 17. And now my sister and my brother, they're younger than me. My brother is like 13, 14. My sister is like 15. So, and they are helping me with this child, and they don't know no more than I know. And my mom was not the type of mother that was going to raise my child for me.
Right.
Now, I'm there. She didn't banish me or nothing like that, but she definitely didn't raise my child either.
Right.
It's just like, I remember, I don't know how I could. Sierra was right here in the crib beside me. Sierra could cry and holler. I'd sleep right through it. But somehow I am able to hear mama call my name from a whole nother room to tell me to get that baby.
Wow.
But anyway, yes. So by the time I get to Nick, which is my ex-husband's name, I had already started prostituting. I started prostituting when I was 13 years old. Well, actually, I started exchanging at 10. 10 was my first
What?
exchange. But
What do you mean 10?
I'm about to explain. there was this guy, cause at this time, by the time I knew what a dollar was,
Lord have mercy.
all my life I've been hustling.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I found out what a dollar was. I remember me and my sister went outside one time when we wanted to go ride the go-karts down the street, because they had the go-karts down the street from my grandma, and she had her beauty parlor. And we ain't had no snack money. And nobody gave us no money, because usually her guests give us money. We take their money and go to the go-kart and buy our snacks.
Right.
But this won't happen in this day. So me and Monica went outside and I came up with this idea. We're gonna make cars. We're trying to find something we can sell. So
Wow. This is where I get
we
this
didn't even
from.
have no blank paper. So we took paper that just was blank on one side. And we just took and folded it. I drew a rose, because I could draw. I drew a rose on the outside and said, I love you. And we picked flowers out the ground. Them what's them things? Them buttercups that used to shine to your chin and see if it turned yellow.
Yeah.
And anyway, we put them with the card, and we sold these cards. We sold out. We had plenty of money.
What in the
Yeah.
world?
But I've been hustling all my life. So by the time, because I've been molested, ain't even traumatizing me. It's just a chapter. Yeah,
Wow.
it's happened so much. And it's not, believe it or not, it's not just men. It's also women.
Yeah.
One of my biggest molesters was a woman, not a man.
Yeah, you told me
Yeah.
about her.
And it's sad to say, it was in the church. But
Yeah, that's a subject I can't wait to have. That is going to be another podcast. We are going to have another podcast about church hurt, things that happen in the church that's swept under the rug,
yeah.
things that happen to the PK kids and
Yeah.
all of that, because those are usually the
Yeah.
children that get hurt the most.
Yeah.
And we gotta, keep face. Most of the,
I'm not with the
I
keep
don't want
face
to
part.
say keep face, but it's kind of slick to the child. It
Yeah.
almost seemed like it's
Yeah.
keep face.
Yeah.
But most of that is anyway. That's another
Yeah.
podcast, and I definitely want to come back with that one. But go ahead. Sorry.
Right. So by this time, okay, at 10, like I said, because I always been a hustler, I used to bag these groceries at the grocery store. I used to do this little side job, and they used to let me do it at the grocery store.
Child labor laws.
So they didn't have that. They weren't that deep back then.
Wow.
And so the grocery store used to let me do it. So I used to do it. My arch enemy also was hating on me. Used to also do it. That was my first fight. Was with this boy, Andrew Highsmith. So if you see
gonna
in this,
call out his name.
yes, because he was my first one. It's all right. We grown now. We was kids then. I ain't seen him since, but I'm pretty sure wherever he is,
Right.
we grown now. But he was my arch enemy as a kid. He used to hate on me. He used to bag groceries at the store. But anyway, I met this jeweler, this guy that used to hustle selling jewelry outside, selling jewelry to people. Now, I didn't know it was fake. I'm a salesman. I know that I can move it. I just saw what he was doing, and I know that I was better than what I was looking at. So I took one, and I sold it and made a quick buck. And he actually hustled me into selling jewelry for him. But he was the first one who was the first pedophilia that exchanged money. At that time, he ain't the first one to molest me. He's the first one to exchange money and give me money for it. But he would relieve himself
So was it
in
the
front of
woman?
me. No, not this one. This is
No,
new.
what I mean is, who was the first two? Was it the woman? Was the first that molested you, or the man?
There's a man that's first. A man was first. The
At
woman
10 or before 10?
before 10.
Before 10?
Yes.
Ooh,
So y'all need to be
Jesus.
watching y'all kids. That's what I just want to tell you. Watch your kids. Most parents is not paying attention close enough.
I'm paying attention, but goodness
This
gracious.
is before 10. Honey, it was this one dude. I think he's dead now, but his name was Charles. He was somebody that lived with my grandma, and we was there too. And he would always try to sneak us in the bathroom and relieve himself in front of us, in front of me. Now, I say us because since then, I learned that my sister too, I didn't know that
wow.
then. I didn't know. If I had known that then, this story would be a whole lot different. It's
Right.
one thing when it's me, but if I know that you're touching my sister or
Right.
taking her honey, I would have fought. Fight.
Yeah.
I'm doing something. But anyway, Nonetheless, that was then. He was around the first. That was Charles. Now, from that point, it kind of pretty much happened all my childhood life, and most of the time it's with people that
Are
my
close.
parents trusted.
Yeah.
Um,
It be like that too.
yeah, and
Family members, close,
mhm,
everything.
yeah.
Ooh.
So by the time I'm 12, well, 10, like I said, was the first time I had the exchange. But I hadn't, even at that exchange, even though it was cool to me, I went on and did it at 10 because of what he was doing. He was just relieving himself in front of me. And this had already been done so much, I wasn't scarred by it. And
Wow.
so, therefore, I just got this money.
Right.
So, it went on. That same man, that man and another dude, I was raped by two men, and that was one of them, the man that I'm talking about.
Hmm.
And
So it moved from
yeah,
relieving to actual rape.
he raped me.
Wow.
Him and well, let me say this: it's rape because I'm 12. Number
Yeah.
one, but it wasn't like he took me, kidnapped me, and did some violent thing. I actually agreed to it, but the way I agreed to it is because I really felt like I didn't have a choice. So I don't know if because we already somewhere. You took me to a place and I'm already
Yeah.
there. So me saying no at this point, I don't think would have made any difference. It would have turned it to something violent or something
Right.
I got to fight for. So as a kid, though, when I'm a kid, I feel emotional about that.
Yeah.
But as a kid, when it's happening, I somehow am telling myself I agreed to it because I kind of did in my brain.
Wow.
So to tell somebody, I didn't tell nobody because I thought this is something I agreed to.
Mm.
But now that I'm here,
You were 12,
yeah, I was
nonetheless.
raped. It was straight rape. I'm 12. And
Yeah.
these are two grown men.
Right.
And so these two grown men raped me. And that's how I lost my virginity. And I was
Oh
12 years old.
Lord. You know it's some. Never mind. I can't tell nobody else's story on here. I'm about to just go in on somebody else. But
Yeah.
that is deep.
Yes.
Wow.
So at that
Ooh.
point,
Lord. No wonder you. Okay, go ahead.
yes, we'll get to that. I know what you're going, but yeah. But so from that point, um, it's my life is a little different at this time. I'm a little more paranoid about this man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the man that took me. So I don't really go anywhere with him, but somehow I still because actually when after he raped me, he paid me. So let me just say
Wow.
that. So he paid me, but I guess that's their way making sure I don't tell nobody. I don't know how to would.
So they knew you were a virgin.
I yeah, I had to. I bled right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
mom,
Yeah.
that is really sad. You make me want to cry. For real.
Yes, it is traumatizing. So after that point, um, I remember the first time that I'm actually about to do a legitimate um, sexual exchange,
Mm-hmm.
where it's actual intercourse. And how this came about is because my mom had moved from where we live because I used to go to Lindsay and I was on my way to Hampton High School.
Mm-hmm.
And now my mom is moving to a neighborhood that we're going to our arch enemy, which is Phoebus.
Ooh,
So,
don't do Phoebus like that.
but I
Hold
went to
on,
Phoebus.
hold on. That
I
don't
went
do
to
the two
Phoebus.
four nine. Wait a minute.
Yes, but this is how I felt at the time, and all my friends were in Lindsay, and we were in there, so I didn't take the moving to the Phoebus too good. So I skipped school on like my first, second of the day to go hang out with my friends back at
Wow.
Lindsay. And I did that. I did exactly that. I went to the gym, hung out with my friends. I knew what time they classes were because I just moved.
Mm-hmm.
We was in classes together. So I went showed up in gym at school. But before I did that, before I showed up at school, I remember I was catching the bus and I went inside this bookstore and this guy was watching me the whole time. You know the perverse. You know I'm a mile
Right.
away.
Yeah.
So he was watching me. I'm in the adult book section, first of all. The bookstore
Oh
itself
Jesus.
should have been just better at what they were doing. They were
What in the world?
just they weren't doing much about me in the adult books
Right.
section, and I'm a kid. I'm obviously a kid, but anyway, and there's this guy that's watching me. So anyway, he left out the store. So after a while, I left out because I'm about to go get on this bus and go to my school,
Right.
my old school. So when I came out the door, he was standing right there at the door, and he propositioned me.
Wow.
And when he propositioned me,
So bold.
he propositioned me with an amount of money that was more than I have ever gotten for
Oh Lord.
this.
Not you went cha-ching.
Yeah,
Ooh.
I went cha-ching. And so, well, I'll never forget when I got to his house and he was actually about to do it and he pulled out his little mess. His mess was so huge.
Mom.
I'm telling you, this is a true story.
Okay.
The mess was so huge till it scared me. I screamed out, I'm only 13. I'm only 13. I'm only 13.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, the pervert, needless to say, he stopped. He didn't stop forever. I want you to know I dated this man continuously up until my grown years. Grown, and into after I'm on drugs and everything. I see this
Wow.
same man. But he did know the truth. He know exactly, but I'm not grown. I'm 13. I don't look grown. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, our bodies may be what they are, but our faces, when you're that young,
Yeah.
don't let nobody tell you look grown. No, your face still look 12.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, his wife came home at this time.
Oh
I'm
Lord.
there. So did we end up doing it? Or we didn't do it? We didn't do it that time. We didn't do it. He paid me anyway. But while I'm there, we heard keys coming into the door. Now, I this is how I come up on my game so early. I got rules and laws I used to follow because I've been in these situations.
Wow.
So we heard the keys, and he say, "That's my wife." What, nigga? I wouldn't have think. What in the world? You just threw me. Now, all I know is what I see on TV. About the wives catching them. I don't know what to do. There's nowhere to hide. This is an apartment.
But you are a child.
Yes.
If anything, she would
Yeah,
be
but honey,
coming
as a
after.
child, I came up with the brightest idea. It was me who
Oh,
came
wow.
up with it. He was just dumbfounded. I hid in the shower. But anyway, I did behind the shower curtain and left it kind of open. So if you came in there and used the bathroom, it wouldn't look suspect. So anyway, she came on in. She said whatever she had to say, and I had left my pocketbook on the couch. She said, "Who pocketbook is this?"
Ooh.
And he said it was somebody because he was an artist and he was hiring somebody. So he said it was a client he was trying to hire. And she eventually left, and I left that house, and I'll never forget how traumatized I was by this what just happened. I went to the school though right after that and hung up with my friends. Yeah. And then we didn't talk about nothing. I just went and hung out. They don't know. I just had my whole prostituting affair right there, my very first one.
Wow.
That was willing, should I say. And then from there, when it came to dating, of course, this is how I end up with the sugar daddy because
Right.
first of all, like I said,
This is really like a sugar great granddaddy. But okay. Because he's like 40 whole years.
yeah, he is 40 years older
older
than I
than
am. Yes, yes, but the one thing I knew I wasn't going to do, I wasn't going to be playing the games that other men and my father was playing in my eyesight. Because I don't really know what's going on. I don't know if dad taking care of us or not. All I know is we poverty stricken, and I feel like you could do something about it, and
Right.
you didn't. So therefore, I just wasn't going to repeat that with my own life. So I married a man I knew that wanted and loved and didn't care, didn't mind taking care of me, and will take care of me. And he did. I will give him
Right.
kudos to that. He took care of me to the day he died.
And
The
he
day
took
he
care of us,
left,
too.
yeah, he died. He won't slow about that. So the Lord blessed me with that. But the dating part, I didn't really date a whole lot of guys. Every guy I dated was always older. I told you, like I had the 33-year-old man that I brought home to
Yeah,
mom.
that's just red flag for daddy issues. Because,
Yeah, yeah,
obviously.
yes. And like I told you, my dad went off on that, but it was something he probably should have been doing. Mom people always ask me about this. What is the mom? Is your mama just watching it? Well, no, she's not just watching it, but my mom was different from dad. My mom wasn't irate. So
Ooh.
some of the things, my mom,
Oh, okay.
no, she wasn't with me. When it came to these,
Because she sure was quick to slap fire out of us.
oh, well,
So,
yeah, I ain't say she didn't quit to slap. Because she is very quick to
yeah,
slap.
I don't know. The
She quick to
backhand was
action.
a big
She's quick to
thing.
action, but she wasn't a yeller. You know, like I'm
Okay.
a yeller.
I get what you're
Dad's a
saying.
yeller. You know, you going to see us coming.
Right.
You ain't see mama coming. If you
Right.
didn't
You
know the
didn't
telltale
either.
signs,
When you got the slap,
yeah,
you did not know it was actually
yeah,
about to
you
be a
don't see that
slap.
coming. That's right. You don't see her coming. If you don't know the telltale signs of mama,
Right.
you won't see it coming. So anyway, mom was never irate. She sat down and she talked when it came to serious situations because most of the time, by the time she's getting it, it's already far past
Yeah.
like something you can do anything about. Because by the time we get into Nick, I'm whole telling you I'm pregnant.
Ooh.
So
Mm.
when she asking me about the baby father, and then I'm at the time because for a minute before I found out the truth, I didn't know the truth, so I thought it was the rapers. I thought I was pregnant literally by the raper.
Right.
So for mom, I just thought I was lying and saying Nick,
Yeah.
but it was actually the truth. But at the time I was telling her, I thought I was lying, to hide that. I didn't want to hide because now I got to tell you where I was. I was skipping school and I was all this, that,
Ooh.
and all the things that happened in it. And I'm only about to do all of that because we already had the episode where the school kicked me out.
Mm.
So when the school kicked me out, my mama sat on the couch.
Wait a minute. Hold on. When did the school kick you out?
Wait, okay, so I started skipping school a lot. During the time that I met Nick, it was during the time I was skipping school a lot. I told you I didn't take Phoebus too well. I didn't like them. I ain't know nobody. I just
It's
it's
just the more you say that, it's kind of feel a little
it's because I didn't know
disrespect.
anybody.
Ooh.
I'm telling you what the problem was. I didn't
Right.
know nobody. So and it was boring. I was
What?
I'm smart. Okay, I ain't trying to be funny. I was a smart
So you
girl.
saying Phoebus is a dumb school?
No, I was just saying school within itself became boring to
Okay.
me.
Okay.
It
I
was
get it.
literally just boring. And it's not, I was a good student. I was an A student. This is how I got back in school so easy.
Right.
They didn't have a problem letting me back in school, even though I still left school. I dropped out of school still because by the time I'm going back to school, I'm pregnant.
Right.
And so that ain't gonna work out. But anyway, so I just dropped on out. But I was smart. I wasn't dumb. I wasn't Monique and May, they slow.
They
But
were
they think I call me up
more
right now.
educationally challenged.
Right, right. They more Kevin Hartish. And
Jesus.
when it
This
came
is
to
getting worse.
when mom was helping them with their homework, when Kevin Hart told his stories, that's pretty much what May and Nika.
Okay.
What they were going through. I was a smart kid. That everybody had their eggs in the basket on
Right.
me. And they thought I was going places. I was going to
Yeah.
be doing things. And when I took, because electronics was one of my electives that I took in school. And at the beginning of high school, I had strep throat. I missed 2 weeks of school. So when I finally got to school and got in my electronics class, I had caught up and surpassed
Right.
the students there. But I'm also in the stage where I'm skipping school, so he's my first period class, so he's the first to go. He would come to literally pick me up from because he told me you got a lot of potential.
Right.
He really believed in me. It's so sad I let him down like that because I completely let him down. I just dropped out of school, but I was very smart. I should have stayed in school and just did what I was supposed to do. I would have been somewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm also afraid of that. I'm glad I kind of didn't because I think I would have been like bougie now, or just
Why?
because of my
It's
personality.
probably how I
My
became
my
who I am.
it's
Because
my
I'm like the
personality.
other side of you. Then.
Yeah, you are. I said you're the me with no drugs.
Yeah.
So and you don't have that life in which I'm scared of because I actually don't like that. I'm glad I had this. It was humbling. I don't want to repeat it, but it developed character. It made
Yeah.
me. It didn't kill me, so it definitely made me stronger.
You develop character for me.
Yeah.
Because the Bible clearly states that we overcome from your testimony.
Yeah.
So I am okay with overcoming from your testimony. It is a blessing to me that you paid for me in so many words.
Yeah. Well, I want to kind of go into other parts, but I don't really know
I
how to
want you
do that.
to, we got about 10 to 15 more minutes
Mm-hmm.
in this, and I do want to touch on how you transition into the substance abuse. When did that part
Ooh.
take place?
Okay. I was the partier type, the partying type. So in my young life, I partied. Just party. I did club like I do church now.
Ooh.
I did the club like that. I was in that
Wow.
club Wednesday to Sunday. I love to dance. I was a dancer. Actually, I ain't bragging or nothing, but I can. When I first started going to the club, there used to be, I don't know if anybody y'all ever heard of the group 711 Boys, but the 711 Boys was a dance group. They were a nice, hot group at the time. This one, Atomic Dog, and all that came out,
Right.
like again, y'all might
That's
not
my
know
daddy
that
type
I'm
music right there.
older. Oh, girl, don't talk about your daddy.
Ooh.
Because your daddy and his music. Ooh. But anyway, that's another story.
Is that how I got here? What is she
No,
saying? I'm
that is not
confused.
how you got here. We definitely did not agree on the music.
Oh,
Your daddy,
Lord.
the funkadelic music, yes, we did agree on.
Yeah. Oh, because the rock stuff he liked.
He like heavy
Yeah,
metal.
you're right.
And ooh, that was a no. But anyway, the what was I saying? I just got off. We talk about the music.
You talk about music, 711 Boys,
Oh yeah,
and your
there was
club
this
life.
guy, the White Fox. Now I'm calling his name because I'm giving him kudos. He was a great dancer, and he was part of the 711 Boys. I used to go to this club called Piccadilly in Hampton, Virginia.
Wait, not a
The
club
Pick.
by the name of a restaurant.
Yes,
This is so
but
funny.
in my time, Piccadilly was a spot to be. So I went to this club, and this guy was in. I used to watch him dance, and I said I want to dance with this guy, but I felt like I ain't fit the dancing caliber, to actually there. But eventually, I did. And long story short, I became the hot dancer. So the party didn't start because we became dance partners. The party didn't start until we got there. That's what it was. And I was a dancer. People used to come and literally to watch us dance.
Right.
So we partied. That's all I did was party. When we used to leave, go with these guys. This is the party that this is not just one guy. This is what we did.
Right.
After the club closed, somebody's buying us breakfast. We partying some more at an after spot or at somebody's crib. So actually, there was the neighbor to this lady that was my boyfriend's mom. My boyfriend's mom. But me and his sister were friends.
Okay.
So I would go and spend the night with the sister, which was slick, spending the night with my boyfriend.
Okay.
But nobody could catch this because this is all church people, by the way. This is why
Wow.
we had to do this like this. So I went to go spend the night with my friend. But my friend is also my boyfriend's sister. So therefore,
Slick.
yeah. So I am, with my boyfriend. So after I have Sierra, like again, I had her at 17. I left home. I left home. Sierra was 6 months. I went to go spend the night with my boyfriend or my boyfriend's sister, and never came back. And that's pretty much where that's just how that went. That's how I left home. And I met the girl next door.
And this is not the old man. This is
a young guy. This is my boyfriend.
the one I keep thinking you talking about, right?
Yeah, this is Junie.
Okay.
Right. So me and Junie, and we meet. It's the couple that lives next door. There's a couple that lives next door. So the couple that lives next door, me and my boyfriend would go over their house to smoke and whatnot because you couldn't smoke in the home where my boyfriend lived.
Right.
So we used to go over their house and chill with them, party with them, smoke with them. In the course of these things, me and the girl of this couple became really good friends. And then she didn't introduce me, but she brought me back into the presence of another young lady that I used to go to church with.
Mm-hmm.
But she's grown and left, and whatnot, doing other things.
Right.
So we get back. A lot of things transpire in between that. That's going to have to be another podcast, simply because my grandchild is here. But it's going to have
Okay.
to be another podcast for that. There's a lot of things that transpire in between me and the young lady that I meet next door.
Is
And
this lady my godmom?
yes,
Okay.
all right. This is your godmother. Yeah. So when I meet your godmother, there's another young lady. The other young lady is dead now, dead and gone. And so it's the other young lady that's she done got me in the mix with. We are also friends and old church friends. So we're not new. We didn't just meet each other. We're just coming reacquainted.
Right.
So we start hanging too, and we became very good friends along the way.
Right.
And there was a Christmas party, and during this Christmas party, her dude, because she has a dude at this time, comes get off work, and yeah, everybody's doing we all do drugs. We all do drugs, all types of drugs. All the partying drugs, all the
Right.
party drugs we're doing, but nobody that I know of is doing addicting drugs.
Like
Because
hard
like
drugs.
it's hard, well, addicting, because according to school, all the drugs we were doing the party with were hard drugs too.
Okay.
So, uh, so I'm not saying that. I just don't see nobody as an addict. So I don't know. I've never seen. The only thing I knew was an addict was my uncle. He was and the only reason I knew that because my grandma and them said that, that he was a dope fiend, So,
Ooh.
uh,
Oh, okay. Never
yeah,
mind.
no names at this time, but that was all I knew. So I didn't really know of other actual addicts.
Right.
So if I had known that, I would have never done what I did. But at this party, I had tooted cocaine before. That wasn't
Okay.
it wasn't a new thing. Tooting cocaine. But I that was something that you did at the party, going to the party. It's not nothing you do at home. I ain't buying it every day like you do weed, nothing like that. But if you there and somebody got it, I'll toot it. That's as big
Okay.
as that got. So the guy, he came home. And it's this Christmas gathering because I went to a Christmas party,
Mm-hmm.
but ain't nobody at this party but me, her, and him. That's a whole
Okay.
nother story. He has all these mounds and mounds of this cocaine. I'm like, oh, we are partying. We partying. So he did some other stuff with it that
Oh.
I never seen before. And I was just so intrigued about this whole chemistry thing I'm watching. I was, because he did a whole chemistry thing, the cooking it up
What in
stuff.
the
And I
world?
was intrigued. This is literally what happened.
You mean turning it to crack?
Yes,
Is this
turning it
what?
to crack.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm 18, by the way. So I'm 18 years old, and I'm watching this, and I'm so intrigued I just watched it appear. And I'm like, what? And then there was a whole rock. He did the clean, clean, clean thing, which they had holes. I
Goodness.
said that because anybody who's an old crackhead, we used to have whole jingles behind this clean, clean,
Wow.
clean
This
thing.
is sad.
But then he did that. I'm like, wow. I'm just so amazed. And so when he took it out and him and her was doing it, I'm a little mad because you letting me, I see you smoking on this same Pepsi pipe that you told me was a weed bong. And I've been using that. But
Mm.
anyway, that's a whole nother story for my weed. But
Mm-hmm.
she did this drug in front of me. And when she did the drug, she looked entirely so high that I said,
Ooh.
yes. What is that? I want some.
Oh
Because she
Lord.
looked so ridiculously high. I said, I want to try that. And I remember, I'll never forget. Nigga, you know what the F you doing? You know what the F you doing? She was trying to stop me from doing it. But
Mm.
I didn't listen to that. I said, no, I want to do it.
Oh
So
Lord.
I remember when I first tried it and I did it, I felt nothing.
What?
Nothing at all. And I'm like, but this is nothing. I'm trying to figure out why do you look like that? Because you look like you are tore out the frame. I said, I felt absolutely nothing. She said, because you're doing it wrong. You take it like you shotgun. Take it like a shotgun. When she told me that, and I took it like a shotgun, it was over
Wow.
with.
And that's when the addiction became.
Well, no, that's not when the addiction became. That's when I first
You
tried
know,
it.
this is why I want you to know there is a, not to go off, but we do got to
Yeah.
actually run it up, but there is a whole secretive beef granddad has with this person you're talking about. And now it's all coming to fruition because he felt like that Pacific woman,
Your godmother?
yes,
No.
that's what I want you to know, he feel like she took you down to Satan himself and introduced you.
It was the exact opposite, actually.
How?
I
You
turned
just
her on.
told me.
I'm telling you about the other female that was friends with us.
Oh, so this is not her.
No.
Oh, is this the church lady?
Yes.
That's the other one that he said he saw y'all on the. Okay, you said
The tall one.
I know who you're talking about. You said this was not the church lady. The last conversation, um, but I wish this was not such a
Right.
public podcast.
Well, I don't mind it being.
But-
Oh yeah, as far as names are
Yeah,
concerned.
but I'm telling you, he saw you on some street.
Well, he didn't see me with that one. If he saw me, he didn't see me just hanging or doing no type of thing with that one, because that one ain't walk the street.
Well, I don't know what was taking place, but it was something bad. He didn't say specifically what he saw. That's the other thing. He just know he saw you.
Oh, that's probably. She worked downtown, Newport News at the time. So I would be downtown at her job. We did live together at one point. Yeah, as I tell you, there was a lot that transpired.
Ooh.
But it was that.
You know what's crazy? We are 5 minutes in, and it's still so much.
Yeah. We actually got nowhere.
And we didn't get anywhere.
No.
But the crazy thing is, still, just from hearing all the different transactional relationships you had as a very young child explains a lot. That's number one. And then how you got introduced. All of this is crazy. This then led to what, a 10, 13 year
10 years, 11 years, 12, something like that. I was 18, turned on. I came off, Lord, the answered my prayer. I had a prayer, don't let me be a 30-year-old geriatric crackhead. So,
Right.
29, he saved me.
Okay, so we talking 11 years,
Yeah.
somewhere around there. So this turned into an 11-year real addiction, that actually you. And what was funny though, what was real funny, we didn't see you we saw you with the leather cat suits. I remember as a child we saw you, and you said, "Oh, you gonna get some ice cream or something." We was at sister house, our sister house. And we saw you, and you was like, "Okay, you gonna go get us some ice cream or something." I think you got us lemon heads. I don't know what it was. You got us something.
Yeah.
And we saw that person, but we didn't see you like the people we see on the side of the street. You know, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, because
You weren't.
God just blessed me. Now, towards the end, it got real raggedy. Towards the end, I came on in. You
Right.
know, we getting past the cat suits and I look fabulous on the hood. Until
Right.
this is run down and raggedy. It's time God got to save me. So
Ooh.
towards the end, it got
Yeah, we didn't see that part.
right. And towards the end, yeah, there's a picture that I found. I found this picture. I tore this picture up.
Why?
Because nobody can see that picture. No one.
That is a testimony.
I hear what you're saying, honey. Nope, nope, nope. Yeah,
What in the
I
world?
tore that picture up. I don't even want to see that memory. But that's what God brought me in those days. But by the time we got to that, God was saving me.
Wow.
But yeah, but before, well, actually, I didn't have a lot of those days even then because I was a working girl.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm
as a
saying. We
working
saw
girl-
that side.
Yeah.
Like when me and Sierra, we were able to see the Hostro days,
Yeah.
basically.
Hmm.
But we still didn't see you as whole, crack. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I don't even like to call you that, but you know what I
Oh,
mean.
Donnie, God bought me from a name
Um,
chain.
yeah,
Yeah.
but we didn't really see you that way. You didn't look like the normal uh person out there on that,
That's
because
because you
you
try
have
to look halfway
friends.
decent by the time you're seeing your kids. But that's
But
that's not the whole truth all the time.
you didn't know, so you didn't
Yeah.
know we was there
Oh,
when we
okay.
saw you that day at Aunt Sister house. You was just so happened to be walking by. It's literally what happened. You were walking down 40th Street or 36th Street. Where she live at?
40th.
36 or
It's
40?
40th.
You were walking down 40th Street,
Hmm.
and we just said, "Oh, mama." This is literally all that happened. And but you didn't look, like some of these people. You have friends that we met that was way different than you. They look like they is messed up in the head now, and
Yeah.
they still struggle. So my whole point, though, from real substance abuse to where you are now, you don't understand how big of a testimony that actually is.
Well,
It's
thank you,
so
Jesus.
many people that never, and when I say never, come fully back. They could not do drugs no more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But their mind is gone.
Yeah.
They done fried all their little cells. Just, all
Yeah.
for real. They
Hmm.
mind gone. They don't talk right. They talk like that. Got that little mumble talk.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's such I don't know what to call that talk, but it is a very serious thing. And I think that's how a lot of these people that's, homeless now, and all these people that's on the street still,
Yeah.
because they haven't got back to reality. Society became a person
Yeah.
of society yet.
Right.
And so
Hmm.
they just stuck.
Yeah.
And that's another, by the way, I do have a whole nother ministry going on, Pray Without Ceasing. Y'all follow me on TikTok. That's another reason why I want to keep pushing that, because I want to see actual change. I feel like we
Yeah.
can bring people back to society. People that
Yeah.
don't got their social security, birth certificates, things like that.
Yeah.
Try to get them back to being a person again.
Yeah.
Once you get them back to being a person, the real work then can
Yeah.
begin.
Actually, yeah.
So I mean that's, but
Let me
that's a
tell
whole
you
other
one
thing.
thing that senior pastor used to tell me, and that used to piss me off at the time when she
Hmm.
was telling it to me. I didn't get it, but
Right.
she used to always say, Angie ain't never been soft. But
Right.
I need that. I needed just who I had. But anyway, she used to tell me, you can stop if you want to. You can stop if you want to. I'm like, what? Do you think I really wanted to do all of this? I remember going off and I'm like, girl,
Mm.
no. Now, believe it or not, addiction is a disease. It is. Don't get
Hmm.
me wrong. And the world called it disease. It's a spirit,
Hmm.
spiritually. But the truth is, anything that you want bad enough, if you can become that Zacchaeus into your
Right.
addiction, you gonna go and do whatever you need to do,
Right.
fight hard enough. At the end of the day, when it got down to it, when God gave me another chance, because He gave me several chances, He
Hmm.
brought me out several times. Just the last time, I wanted it really bad. I wanted it bad enough
Hmm.
to fight,
Right.
and I fought. And the fighting was for my children. Actually, it was for
Right.
y'all because it was something going on during the time. That's another story. But there was something going on with my children. So, and I asked the Lord if He would deliver me. I'll never forget that. If
Oh.
you deliver me, I would never put myself in a position where I can't do nothing about my kids. Never
Oh.
again.
Share that
And,
teacher.
and He brought me out. He delivered me, gave my children back like He said He was. And, you know, which I think that I like that y'all talk, and I think you really should talk more
Hmm.
about the in-depth experience of what y'all had, because I'm on this side. But,
Yeah.
and y'all are, well, actually, not in the worst part of it, but you can talk about the healing side of
Yeah.
it, because there are
I still
some
remember
children.
the letter you wrote. You wrote a letter to us on yellow paper. I remember the yellow paper, and it had tears on it. And that was something that stuck with me. You could see the dried up tears on the letter, and at the end, it was like a poem almost you was writing. I think I'm assuming I was a child, so I
Hmm.
could be wrong, but it was rhyming,
It
so
probably
I believe
was.
it was a
Hmm.
poem. But in the end, you said you do this for Sierra and Chastity, or this is for Sierra. And that's what it was all
Yeah.
for. The whole fight, because at that time you were in the women's
Diversion,
correctional
yeah. Diversion
thing.
center or boot camp, one of them.
Something you was in somewhere that had you fat. I remember that you had gained so much weight. You looked completely different than them cat suits. Uh, and then you wrote that letter. There's another letter. I want you to know just this past year, Granddad finally said, I think I'm going to go ahead on and get rid of the letter. He kept this letter.
He can give it back to me. Give it to me. I don't know what letter that is. I would love to have that.
Ooh, I got to ask him if because he got to it's a good reason why he got rid of it. It wasn't a bad reason.
Okay.
He finally got to a point where he's, I guess, coped. You wrote a letter to him when you were on, actually in the street. It wasn't the same like what you wrote for us. This was in the street, and you told him, Dad, I am a crackhead, and I'm gonna be a crackhead to the day I die. Yeah, this is what you said in this letter. And
Girl,
this
don't say I
letter,
said that. Are you sure I said that?
I'm positive he literally can read it to me. It was a real letter. Because you were, this is when you were coming clean, I guess, or telling him about your
Addiction.
demons or whatever.
Right.
And he had kept this letter all these whole like 50 years almost seems like. And just maybe about a couple of weeks ago, I'm gonna ask him if he still got it. About a couple of weeks ago, he finally said, I think I have got to a point now where I can go ahead on and get rid of this letter. Because you are his me to you. You know how
Yeah.
you always was so,
Yeah.
worried about how my outcome was going to be because, you always seen me as kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hmm.
And that's how he was with you. You were like his little promised kid, or I don't know what to call it.
I know what you mean,
Um,
though.
so I think that letter almost kind of haunted him for years and years and years and years to the point he just kept this letter all these years. And now he said he finally has, I guess, made, I mean, I don't know, came to some sort of peaceful transition. I don't
Right.
know. And so he said, I can finally go ahead and get rid of this letter.
You should give it to him. I'm gonna write a book. You
Yeah.
give me the letter, I'm gonna write the
I
book.
wish we still had the one with the tears on it. That was a beautiful. We literally missed it. Had a whole uh, Caucasian kid moment. Really, we really did. No shade to the Caucasians, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Hmm.
We thugged out. We don't like to
Yeah.
cry, but we
Hmm.
definitely had a moment where we was, oh, she was so. And then we saw the little lemon heads wrapped up. We got the Boston baked beans. She would
Yeah.
always give us candy in these letters. But
Hmm.
anyway, I'm glad we had this conversation. We're gonna wrap it up because at the end of the day, the whole goal of this whole thing, iUnify, is to help somebody
Yeah.
bring unity to this world and
Yeah.
know that it's never a point where you're too far out to be ashamed or
That's right.
or to
Hmm.
have some sort of moment where you feel like you can't mend with your children, you can't mend with your parents, or come back. There's always a place to come back no matter how
Yeah.
far you go.
Yes.
And to the children and to the people that you feel may turn away from you or may not accept you, that is not true.
Oh, absolutely not.
Majority of the time, speaking as the child, they are yearning for you. They are
Yes.
yearning for that
Reconciliation.
reconciliation.
Hmm.
Now don't joke me for that. But reconciliation. And it's so many things that I can go on and say regarding being in that position. But the point is, talk.
Yeah.
Be willing to listen. Be willing to hear their side. Be willing to have that moment, that life changing moment.
Yeah.
And that's it, you guys. We want to
All
thank you for
right.
coming back. As y'all can tell, it is so much more to her story, but we don't want to go in 2 hours in. But maybe And another time, we got so many other subjects that could basically touch on a lot of her adulthood, especially after the fact, coming off of the street, going into church, all of that. We got to. That's gonna be other episodes. So y'all keep tuning in to us. We want to thank y'all. We are now what 300 something thousand views. I want to thank y'all on
Yes.
YouTube for supporting. And thank you for watching iUnify.